Republicans in Congress are a dangerous group of people, especially if you are not a wealthy American. Raw Story reports in an article published by the conservative website The Bulwark on April 19th, journalist Jonathan Cohn warns that millions of Americans could lose their health insurance if Trump and Mike Johnson succeed in undermining Obamacare and Medicaid. Quote, "The likelihood of Donald Trump and his allies in Congress taking Medicaid away from millions of low-income Americans and in the process rolling back a huge piece of the Affordable Care Act has increased significantly in the last 2 weeks," Cohn explains. Quote, "The change has been easy to miss because so many other stories are dominating the news and because the main evidence is a subtle shift in Republican rhetoric. But that shift has been crystal clear if you follow the ins and outs of healthcare policy and if you were listening closely to House Speaker Mike Johnson a week ago when he appeared on Fox News. On Fox News, Johnson said, quote, "We have to root out fraud, waste, and abuse. We have to eliminate people on, for example, on Medicaid, who are not actually eligible to be there. Able-bodied workers, for example, young men who should never be on the program at all." Johnson's remarks, Cohn notes, quote, "may sound like a defense of Medicaid, but included the language Medicaid critics have been using to describe a big controversial downsizing of the program. Quote, here it helps to remember what the Affordable Care Act sought to accomplish and the key role Medicaid played in that." Cohn writes, "The law's main goal was to make decent health insurance available to all Americans as part of a decades-long, still unfinished program to make healthcare a basic right as it is in every other economically advanced nation. That meant getting coverage to the uninsured, including low-income Americans who didn't have a way to get insurance on their own because their jobs didn't offer coverage or made coverage available at premiums they couldn't afford, and because individual policies, the kind you buy on your own, not through a job, were either too expensive or unavailable to them because of pre-existing conditions." Yeah, so these guys, they are a sleazy bunch. Oh yeah, no, we have some problems with the waste, fraud, and abuse that is going on with Medicaid. And as Cohn points out, it might sound like a defense of Medicaid, but it's not. It's an offense against Medicaid. Yeah, no, we want to save it. We want to save it. We want to save it from waste, fraud, and abuse. Save it by slaughtering it. That's what they're going to do. That is the problem. They will falsely accuse people of being fraudulent as well. That's how despicable they are. That's how eager they are to get rid of this popular program. This program that helps millions of Americans. Well, no, look, there are people unjustly riding the coattails of it, committing fraud, and we have it out against them. We don't have it out against the people who rely on it. We want to purify it. No, you don't. You want to take advantage of any sort of problems to the extent they exist and use those problems as a sledgehammer against the rest of the program. Shame on you. You're trying to throw out the baby with the bathwater. This could all have been avoided. This could all have been avoided. Why did we have to give Republicans the majorities in the House and the Senate, for crying out loud? I don't know, man. So in 2018, you probably remember that Trump's attacks on the Affordable Care Act actually arguably hurt him in some ways in that midterm election. And I wonder if in 2026, healthcare will actually reemerge, like over stuff like prices as, the big ticket issue. Because obviously both are very important, but it's like healthcare. Hello, do the Republicans have any semblance of a convincing story to tell us on the issue of healthcare? I cannot see any. Donald Trump straight up said during the election cycle, in the months leading up to the election, no less, "I have concepts of a plan." Concepts of a plan? He said it twice on a presidential debate stage, thinking that would just be cool with the American people. And I mean, even if it was, it's like, oh, well, I guess they liked him on other issues, And yeah, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. And that the Republican Party thinks that they can skate by on this. The Democrats have not hammered the Republicans enough on the issue of healthcare. I will say that. Senator Bernie Sanders and a lot of staunch progressives have the right idea when it comes to talking about healthcare. Bernie and Warren, they made it a huge issue in their 2020 campaigns. But when we go back to, stuff that is a little, still important, but not quite, the areas in which the Democrats have a true slam dunk, it's like, okay, we have to expend our political capital wisely. And I'm not saying political capital is some zero-sum thing, but we only have so many hours in a waking day, to talk about the issues. So we should talk about the ones that matter most. Obviously, well, you can talk about whatever you want. Politicians can talk about whatever they want. It's free speech, whatever. They got elected. But got to hammer the Republicans where their sore spots are. And here, as I have explained, there is a very, very gross sore spot in the form of healthcare. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you in my next video.